On this episode of That One Movie Podcast, we are going to take a look at the Nun II, Nun-ya business. Of course, we are going to start off spoiler-free. We'll warn you before we dive into our spoiler-filled discussion. But beforehand, Holden, we've got some news to discuss from this week in the world of entertainment. What are this week's stories?
D23 is coming back, Jimmy. What's all that about?
That is my favorite convention that includes a letter of the alphabet and a number over 19.
Yes. Is Rotten Tomatoes rigged? I guess we'll have to see.
Oh, boy.
And also, apparently Warner Bros. Is losing a lot of money, and it's not just because of The Flash, Jimmy.
Oh!
But then we also have trailers for Chicken Run, The Boy and the Heron, and Gen V.
All right, sweet. I'm Jimmy Uthny.
I'm Holden Sutter.
And it's time for Tom.
Tom.
That One Movie Podcast.
TOMP.
All right, Jimmy, before we get into the Nun II, should we do some toms?
Yes, let's do some toms. Also, we should stop recording in a cave. Every time I say it's time for Tomp, there's a little bit of an echo.
I know. I don't know why that happens.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's weird. The Toms. Toms is the rapid fire segment in which we read the news of the week in the world of entertainment on a scale of three famous Toms: Brokaw, Bombadil, and Bergeron. Brokaw's the highest, Bombadil's the lowest, and Bergeron is somewhere in between. Jimmy, let's get to it.
I waited. I don't know if I did very well that time, though.
That's okay. Yeah. I'll trust you. I could have held up too, but I've got them right here.
If I look really bad, I'm just gonna keep in the intro that you messed up.
Oh no!
To make you look bad, so I look less.
You're not
bad.
supposed to mention that. I screwed up. Honestly, I kind of just expected you'd keep it in anyway. But anyway, Jimmy, let's talk about with the few trailers we got. First off, The Boy and the Heron. This is the new movie from Hayao Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli.
It is not a spinoff of The Boys.
No, it's not.
But we will be talking about the spinoff of The Boys. Gen
We will
V.
do that.
Yeah.
Yes. Previously, up until like 2 days ago, supposedly this was his last movie, but then the Studio Ghibli guy was like, the Studio Ghibli VP was like, no, he's coming back for another. Just kidding.
Just kidding. Now that you all spent your money in Japan.
Yeah.
Where it was theatrically released.
Supposedly he's like already brainstorming ideas for a new movie or whatever. But whether that comes to fruition or not, doesn't matter. What do you think of this trailer,
Jimmy?
Jimmy?
The Girl and the Swan. Yes. Genius. Good idea. Sublime. This trailer, I mean, the animation, Brokaw, beautiful.
Yeah,
gorgeous. I've only seen two Hayao Miyazaki films. I've seen Howl's Moving Castle, which we reviewed on this podcast, which I quite liked, and I watched Spirited Away because it's the most famous, well-known, one of the great movies ever, and that one did not connect with me.
How long ago did you watch that?
Probably like 2 to 3 years. Okay. I mean, it was after Howl's Moving Castle, which we reviewed during COVID.
Oh, yeah.
2 to 3 years ago. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know. There's a long list. I don't understand why that movie didn't resonate with me. I didn't particularly like that movie, and maybe I just need to see it again. I really did like Howl's Moving Castle. It's just weird. People like Spirited Away is like one of the great films of all time. I don't get it. I don't know.
My personal favorite of his films is Kiki's Delivery Service from the 90s. But that's a lot of childhood nostalgia. I had that on VHS as a kid.
Oh, wow.
I loved
VHS.
It. Yes.
Back when you read the newspaper.
Yeah, in the morning. Yes. Yeah, but I think this movie, I mean, as you said, animation's great. It very much looks in line with those other movies in terms of like character model. Like the main character, I assume, is the boy of the title, whatever his name is. But he looks much like his other characters. He's really good at drawing really gross looking old people.
Yes.
But yeah, it looks like there's gonna be some fantastical creatures. I really liked the very first like shot it shows in the trailer where he's like running through what I assume is like it's like a town on fire for some reason. I thought that looked really great with how it was kind of the people and the flames were all smeared and everything. But,
yeah.
It doesn't really give away much of anything.
This is all hand-drawn animation. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Wish we'd get more hand-drawn entertainment in the West, Holden. That's what I have to say. Look, it looks good. It's probably weird. I don't know if all the weird stuff will connect with me.
Sure. I think it comes out December 9th is the release date. And if I recall correctly, there might not be anything else like around that. So we might talk about it if it gets a wide release.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah. This did release in Japan already.
Yes.
Right. A while ago. And it
just
didn't have
premiered-
any marketing, right? It was no trailers anyway.
It was just a poster.
Just a poster.
And
which is cool.
Broke records. Everyone went and saw it anyway, which is pretty cool.
And now it's not his last movie.
No.
What if they say that again next time? Do you think people will go like,
I'm pretty sure they said that with his previous movie too. Like,
how old is he? He's like 80 something.
80
right?
something.
Miyazaki.
Miyazaki. Yeah, he's
okay. Well, how do you spell his name?
Hayao.
No. I'm saying Hayao, and then it's MAY.
No, MIY.
MIY. Oh, you got it. You got it.
Yeah.
You knew it. MIYAZAKI 82.
Yeah, there he is. Might not be his final film after all. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's been saying this, but honestly, from what I understand, he's just like a workaholic in a lot of ways. So it might just be like he keeps thinking he's going to retire, and then he's like, "Oh, I have another idea." Like, very creative guy.
Dude, looks pretty good for 82. Not gonna lie.
Nice.
He's a
good recommendation from Jimmy.
Yeah, look him up. You're like, that guy doesn't look 82.
No,
I
agree with that.
There we go. Anything else to say about The Boy and the Heron?
No, nothing. I think, but it looks good. So I'm going to give it a Brokaw overall.
I think it'd be funny if he kept making movies and then he just is like senile making movies.
Yeah.
And then they're like even better because it's like, well, what does this mean? It's so abstract.
Art. Yeah. That would be pretty good. Then Jimmy, the second trailer is for Gen V, the upcoming Boys spinoff. What'd you think?
I think it looks interesting. It obviously, the premise is like this school where they're like, oh, you're training to be the next hero. Maybe you could get into the Seven, which is like the Justice League, the Avengers of the Boys universe. And it seems like in this kind of boarding school, not everything is as it seems. It's not a happy-go-lucky Hogwarts, Holden.
Who would have thought in the world of the Boys there's conspiracy lying underneath?
Yeah, looks like there's going to be a lot of action, a lot of bloodshed, which is no surprise for the boys. One of the more surprising things, I guess, is all the kind of more prominent, not main characters, but side characters are going to be in this. Like Ashley, who's one of the main characters in it. One of the guys who's like at the head of the Vought, which is the company that is like the Marvel of this world.
The Disney,
yeah. Vought. They the head of like the movie department was in the trailer.
Yeah.
Who else? There was another person.
I know,
Clancy Brown is just in this. He's just in everything nowadays.
Was Clancy Brown in the main series at all?
I don't remember. That's a good question.
I know A-Train's in it. He wasn't in this trailer. He was in a previous trailer though, so A-Train's in it as well.
So I wonder if we will get like a Homelander or
I wouldn't be
a
surprised.
Huey or a Butcher
That'd be cool.
or a Mother's Milk or a Frenchie.
I think one of the standout things for me is like it seems like our main character's like power is like blood bending thing, which that just seems like a really cool and fitting Boys universe power.
Yeah.
Just being able to I don't know if she can only control her own blood or if just any blood or whatnot, but very gross power.
Yeah. Similar to the ending of Scales, A Mermaid's Story, Mermaid's Tale. Go check that movie out on Netflix. And we reviewed that during COVID. Scales, go look up Scales, A Mermaid's Story or Mermaid's Tale ending.
No, isn't it just Scales Mermaids Are Real?
That's what it is, maybe.
Yeah, Scales.
Well, they changed the title, I think.
Yeah, it had a couple titles. It was on Netflix when we watched it.
Just look up Scales Mermaid ending thing. Weird.
Very funny.
There you go. And imagine it being the ending to like a very Disney movie.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Yeah, go check out our review of that. Anywho, I like the idea of the mystery and not everything is as it seems. Kind of maybe sort of a battle royale situation.
Supposedly that I think in the premise it gives that as like a descriptor. So yeah, we'll probably get a little Hunger Games battle royale-esque thing in here.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think this will tide me over a little bit for The Boys. Comes out the same weekend of Saw. I don't know if is it coming out one episode at a time or are they just dumping it?
I think so. I think it's one episode at a time.
But starts Saw weekend, September 29th.
Be a very nice gory weekend.
Yes.
Broke off for me as well. And then, Jimmy, the last one we have here is Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget, the Netflix sequel coming up for the late 90s animated film from Aardman Animations. And have you ever seen Chicken Run?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
It has been maybe 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah. I watched it actually at my first sleepover ever with my cousins.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
we watched it, and I think I fell asleep at the end. But I had seen it before that, so I don't think I've seen it since.
Okay, fair enough. I honestly had never seen Chicken Run until college. So probably 5-6 years ago is the first time I watched it, and I really liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Obviously, the animation is really great. Stop motion. Aardman's really talented with that. But I thought it was just like a fun movie about, chickens escaping, this farm, and it was very creative in how it went about everything. So what do you think of this trailer?
I think it looks like the premise, nice twist on it. They're breaking out of a chicken farm in the first one. This one, it's more breaking into infiltration, heist-esque sort of thing. Maybe a breakout of the people in there. I'm not sure exactly why they were breaking into the thing. I can't remember.
I don't think it really said.
I like that little play off of it. I mean, the stop motion looks great. Was a big fan of Wallace and Gromit growing up.
Curse of the Were-Rabbit. That movie I loved that movie.
I don't think I really liked that movie when it came out, but I liked their shorts. Films. Yeah, I liked the shorts.
One with the penguin.
I don't think I really liked the movie when I was little, but I don't remember for sure. That's just my instinct with that. But I think it looks good. It's not a must watch for me. If it's really good, maybe I'll see it. I have nothing against this movie. I think it looks all right, but just because of my interest level, I'm at a Bergeron, but more towards a Broca than a Bombadil. That's for sure. You're gonna give it a Broca, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm at a Broca. I mean, yeah, because I really like pretty much everything Aardman has made. I mean, they also made like Shaun the Sheep and stuff, and I just think it's all very creative and fun. It all looks great, and I'm sure this one will be cool as well. They changed up the voice cast in this one. I think like the main characters are voiced by different people, probably because they didn't want to work with Mel Gibson.
Is that why?
I don't know, but I don't know. Anyway,
there we go. What's up next?
D23 is coming back, Jimmy.
Oh my gosh! Thank
Disney
goodness. What was I going to do without D23?
We're still not getting DC fandom though.
Yeah, D23. What am I gonna do with all these without all these updates on why these Marvel shows are delayed that I wasn't gonna watch to begin with?
Yeah, all these Marvel shows that no one really cares about, especially now.
Oh no, when's Echo coming out?
Oh no,
can't wait for that Echo teaser
Wonder
trailer.
Man, whatever that was we saw last week.
That X-Men animated show. Oh no.
Yeah.
Maybe people are excited about this. I don't care about it anymore. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of in the same boat. Like I'm still like, I love Marvel, and even though a lot of their recent stuff hasn't been the best, and even my interest has waned a little bit. It's just not as interesting as like 2 or 3 years ago. I remember, I think one of the previous D23s was like in July. I remember I was at Jazz Fest here in town here, and they were just like announcing all these Marvel projects. I think we were doing the podcast at the time. I was like so excited when it was happening. I was like, yo, they announced the Loki series, like all of this sounds so cool. And now it's just like, I don't know. It's whatever. Yeah. But anyway, D23, it's coming back after a couple of years of not happening. It's August 9th through 11th of next year. It used to be called like an expo. Now it's considered an ultimate fan experience because it seems to be this big thing. It's not only including like updates on Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars that they usually do. Apparently, they're doing a lot of in-person events in Anaheim where Disneyland is. There's also a sponsored Mets game they mentioned. They didn't go into detail on that. I was like, that's weird. Okay. But yeah, apparently it's this big, like, I don't know. I guess they're just not, it's like their Comic-Con, their own Comic-Con or something.
Good on them. I could not have told you that there hasn't been a D23 for 2 years.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we did it obviously we haven't done one this year. I don't think they might not have done one since COVID.
No, they have. We've had episodes called D23 before.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just been a while, and I don't know exactly why they stopped. But yeah, I don't know. Any thoughts on D23?
I don't care. I don't care. Not great. We're going to have a bunch of news that 1 week from D23.
You're not excited to talk about news?
I don't care about the Echo trailer, Holden. I don't.
Echo will be out by that point.
I don't care about whatever other
Wonder Man
equivalent trailer that comes out.
I don't care about the Wonder Man trailer?
I only care about the whatever Kang Dynasty or whatever Avengers cheeser they'll show, right?
Yeah, probably something.
And then they're going to be like, the Star Wars, here's the new Star Wars. Maybe.
Obi-Wan Season 2.
Hey, let's announce a project that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Rogue Squadron's back. Just kidding.
Maybe they'll actually have a trailer for something Star Wars related.
You know what? That'd be interesting.
A man can dream.
Maybe from a year from now they'll actually have something to show for it. But with the strikes, I'm not confident.
No, they did. Yeah, jeez. I don't care.
Yeah, whatever. This story was interesting though, Jimmy. So Rotten Tomatoes, there's this thing that there's a lot of clickbait articles, people talking about how people have been apparently paying for reviews on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh yeah, well we have.
Yeah,
that's why we have 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I mean, yeah, we've fully admitted to that before.
Yeah,
though.
well,
Like, we're very transparent.
Yeah. We are not above bribery, manipulation, anything. If you want us to say a positive thing about your movie, literally $10 is all it's going to take.
It doesn't take much.
No.
But yeah, so Rotten Tomatoes, there's this movie PR firm called Bunker 15 that had previously paid for higher reviews of some movies that they got hired to do. But they would pay like critics. I think I had the number here. They'd pay critics $50 or more for positive reviews, which I don't know. $50 seems low.
I mean, it's a low price for your integrity.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, I don't know if I would go that low.
Like, okay, so people saying Rotten Tomatoes is rigged. How is it Rotten Tomato? It's these
not
reviewers who are
yeah.
in the Rotten Tomatoes system.
Yeah, it's reviewers within the Rotten Tomatoes system that are being paid by this movie PR company.
And this movie PR company, what movies are they affiliated?
Well, the one that I have here that's like confirmed that was kind of taking the brunt of the force was the movie Ophelia, which is apparently a Daisy Ridley led 2018 film I'd never heard of.
That's right. I forgot about that. It's like a Hamlet spinoff.
Okay.
I think Ophelia is his girlfriend.
Okay. I didn't know anything about it. So.
She goes crazy. Holden, spoiler alert.
All right. But the film apparently initially when reviews first came out was at like a 40%, and then after the alleged payments it was raised to a 62. So like
wow, that's gonna really bump your numbers there.
From what I understand, like their goal is not to like get it up to like a super high number, but more to like get it into the positive, so it's like a fresh rating or whatever, and then it doesn't look like too suspicious, I guess, but it still looks like a good movie. Or like what critics consider a good movie.
I like it. It's like, oh, that movie's got a 62 on Rotten Tomatoes. That's a must see.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe they're putting a lot of stake into the splat icon versus the tomato icon.
I guess so.
I don't know. But Rotten Tomatoes in a statement said, after this kind of came out, we take the integrity of our scores seriously and do not tolerate any attempts to manipulate them. We have a dedicated
We already know it's misleading, okay? It's not very... does the tomato meter actually mean anything? No, it doesn't. But we're going to make sure it doesn't, all right? We don't want anybody manipulating it. That's our job.
We have a dedicated team who monitors our platforms regularly and thoroughly investigates and resolves any suspicious activity. Except for this one, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, after this kind of came out, it seems a number of the Bunker 15 reviews have been taken down after. So,
if Rotten Tomatoes is your number one barometer for a film's quality, I think you need to start checking other places.
Yeah, I mean,
they should have an aggregator of the aggregators. Like they just take Rotten Tomatoes, they take Metacritic, IMDb, CinemaScore, and Letterboxd, and they
there we go. Put them all together.
Then they call it the blender, the movie blender. There you go, Holden. There's our $1 million idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is mostly just funny because people have said Rotten Tomatoes is like, people get bribed on there all the time.
But Holden, the audience score is so high.
Yeah, right? What the heck?
Did you see Sound of Freedom, Holden? Look at the audience score.
Oh, of course. But yeah, as far as I can tell, it just seems to be this kind of this one company, and this I don't know what other movies aside from Ophelia, but yeah.
Okay, well, that was what I don't know who, but people selling their integrity.
Yeah,
Bombadil.
That's a Bombadil for me too.
Unless it's us for a decent amount of money.
In which case, that's a broker.
I said $10 earlier, but
I'm going up
thinking,
to 50.
I'm thinking, well, then you're in the no. I need at least 4 figures. Come on.
Oh, okay.
For per movie. I mean, come on. No. I mean, there's so much to lose.
My
We have
integrity's-
so much at stake here.
So, I was just making fun of the critics for selling out for $50, but I'd do it too, right on this podcast. So send me $50.
We just start arguing about something, and I just slide over a 10,
50,
a
yeah.
little 50.
oh,
Here's a
yeah,
little.
okay.
Who's on the 50? Grant? Who's on the $50
Yeah, isn't
bill?
that Grant?
Why is he on the $50 bill? What did Grant do as the president to warrant being on the $50 bill?
What did
Welcome to
what did
America.
Alexander Hamilton do as the president to be on the $10 bill? Anyway, the final piece of news I have is that Warner Bros. Is apparently losing out money due to the strikes. Their projected 2023 EBITDA, which I had to look up what that means. It means earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So I guess just like money.
Oh, that clears it up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing it's just like money they take in, like in general, before anything is like taken out for whatever reason. It has been lowered by, like, from their initial projections of the year, has been lowered by up to $500 million, apparently predominantly because of the strikes. And I also made note here that apparently the WGA's proposed changes that they want would cost all of Hollywood, like that includes all studios, just in total, $429 million per year. I don't have an exact number for what SAG-AFTRA was kind of looking for. I don't know if they have a total number, but yeah. So the WGA's changes would cost less than what one studio is losing.
Well, for a year.
Yeah, for a year.
This is a one-time per year. This is a one-time thing, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, Holden. Okay, obviously, I'm pro the labor strike.
Yeah.
With that being said, during a thing like that, you are going to see all these facts be completely manipulated to get
That's
whatever
true.
argument you're going for. Figure it out. Come on. Like, I am not educated enough to know about like the demands and if they're reasonable. I obviously am not the CEO of Disney, and I am not a worker in Hollywood, so I cannot relate to either of those things. But how about you just pay people a reasonable amount that they can live off of, and you don't waste that money irresponsibly on your streaming services, you morons.
On shows and movies that no one cares about.
All right.
Aren't very good.
And I've been shouting that from the mountaintop forever. Do you think streaming services are just a black hole? Like, has it, like, seriously?
I don't think.
Did they, I mean, like, you see all these, like, how much is, you have to spend so much money on your streaming service to make it actually worth, like, actually get money back, I feel like, at this point. I mean, when Netflix started, it was literally Netflix. You know, it's
Yeah,
like it's not
it's
like,
the
oh,
only
I'm going to
one.
go to the other streaming service, and then I guess you had Hulu, and then HBO, and then and then Disney
Disney's
Plus,
in
and,
there,
and
yeah.
then Peacock
Amazon.
and Amazon and Paramount and Shudder, and I just like maybe Shudder is like they have the lower end.
I feel like
movies and-
Shudder is probably like. I mean, once again, speaking from like not knowing actually what they're making or whatever, but like they charge $6 a month. I think. I don't think they've like raised their prices like really at all in at least the last few years, and they mostly take like old obscure horror movies or like new ones that are lower budget and don't really have a release platform, and they give them a place, and it's very niche, but like horror is a big fan base, and
Yeah.
a lot of people really like watching these movies, so you still get a relatively big subscriber count. So I'd Shudder out of all of them, I could see making money.
I don't
but
know. But maybe not.
maybe not.
We don't know. We're not in those shoes. We don't see the books.
yeah,
We aren't seeing and I'm sure those books are manipulated.
Yep.
So I don't know. Just figure it out. What is about Bombadil? I don't know.
yeah,
Because the strike, just it going on, and then there being no negotiation happening, it doesn't help anything.
No.
And then all of a sudden, The Rock and Oprah are asking for your money.
for Hawaii
That's
whatever.
Hawaii or whatever.
Yeah, that wasn't the strikes.
Not the strike, but The Rock gave so much money to the strike. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just there you go. I don't know enough either side. All these stories are going to be manipulating the numbers and whatever. Let's see more movies, man. That's my thing.
Let's see more movies.
And figure it out for the theaters. Holy smokes. You guys trying to, the longer this goes, you just blew up your whole thing.
Yeah.
If the movie theaters don't survive this. It's like, oh yeah, movie theaters, you just had COVID. Why don't we just go on, why don't we just have this financial disagreement that's just going to make things even worse for you guys? And it's completely out of your control.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like from the studio side of things, it like doesn't make sense, especially if they're like losing all this money on streaming services. Like, well, then you're also losing money at theaters if you're like not willing to go to table, I guess. I don't know.
Well, okay, is there a possibility that Disney could open its own theaters?
I hope not. That sounds
would be
awful.
terrible.
That
If the
sounds
studios
horrible.
made their own theaters.
Let's
and then
not
they
do that.
Charged other studios to
Jimmy, cut this out. We're not giving them ideas.
I mean, it almost seems like an antitrust thing, where it's like the government has to get involved and be like, no, that's too much of a monopoly.
Yeah, honestly,
Because it seems like such a natural step, right, to create your own theater. I mean, I guess there's so much capital you would need up front, but certainly a company like Disney,
they probably could, but
and then
I
they
don't
don't
know.
have to split anything with anybody, and it's just like, oh,
yeah,
we get 100% of the money, that movie ticket.
God, I would hate going.
Well,
to
I
a
guess no.
Disney
Okay,
theater.
well, no, that already happens anyway, right? Because the theaters only make money off the concessions, really.
Mostly,
So maybe
yeah.
that's why it doesn't work. I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know.
Again, I don't know anything. That's the takeaway from that story.
All right,
Next
perfect.
story.
Well, that was the last story.
That was the
so-
last story. All right, let's talk about Ahsoka,
Ahsoka, let's do it.
episode 4.
All right, Ahsoka, episode 4, The Fallen Jedi?
That's something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Fallen Jedi, Fallen Order.
I was also, up front, I'll say, I was wrong last week. I assumed it was 6 episodes. It's apparently 8.
Okay.
So, it is 8 episodes. So this is the halfway point after this one. What'd you think
It's
of this
only
episode?
halfway over.
Yeah.
Okay, so is the Thrawn stuff going to be in here then?
I guess maybe at least some of it.
All right. Well, I did want to shout out. First off, my allergies are killing me. So if I blow my nose or whatever, but we did get a comment on our last video, so I thought I would read it here. It's by 1T Alpha, which I think is our friend Teague. Right?
Yes, we know Teague. Shout out to Teague.
So he said, with our analysis of episode 3, this is gonna be spoilers, by the way. Agree with you guys on Ahsoka being kind of a letdown. Everyone is so wooden in that show. At this point, it would just be worthwhile to watch Rebels to see a good version of this show. It's quite good. It also just feels like there are no stakes whatsoever. Sad to see something with a lot of potential just be sort of mediocre. All right, so the question is, I guess, did that change for you at all with this episode, Holden?
I think this is the best episode for me, but I'm still like, I don't know. Like overall, I'm still like meh.
Yeah, I think this is by far the best episode. I think from a writing standpoint, from a performance standpoint, and a direction standpoint, I think this is certainly more exciting and interesting than anything else going on so far.
Yeah. A lot of that is because most of it is fighting.
Well, yeah, it is, but also which is, it reminds me of the Obi-Wan show with like the halfway point being the first fight between him and Darth Vader.
Yeah, that's right.
But so this one, yeah, half of it is fighting, but half of it isn't. And I think there are underlying things that are just more interesting here than other ones. For example, again, why is there a map to Thrawn? Who knows? Seems really dumb, but at this point, that is what it is. So
Yeah.
what can you do with it?
It's just the MacGuffin for the first half of the season.
It is, and I at least like how they have it portrayed as, okay, for a character like Sabine and for Ahsoka, to go after this MacGuffin unlocks the possibility of reuniting with their friend Ezra, right? But it also unlocks the possibility of the return of Thrawn, the heir to the Empire.
Yeah.
She said it. Oh my gosh, she said the thing. So the heir to the Empire. So Ahsoka's like, you know what? Maybe we should just not. Which is something that I was thinking last. I don't think I brought it up in the review, but I'm like, maybe you should just not do it.
Yeah.
And you see
Like-
this a lot in shows like that, where it's like, you know, how about you just don't?
Yeah, because like I mean, sure, it sucks that your friend Ezra, you know, sacrificed himself, but he did so willingly, like knowing what was going to happen. And if Thrawn is this big of a threat, maybe it's, you know, not worth it.
Yeah.
Like
Star Wars Napoleon.
Yeah, if this many people have the potential to, you know, die instead of getting your friend back, you know.
Get back Ezra. Who knows if he's even still alive? Sacrifice
More
of
genocide.
Galactic warfare. Repeat the same thing. Need of the Jedi. All that stuff. Just negate everything that's ever happened in Star Wars. What should we do here? But I like how Ahsoka's obviously like, well, we got to just destroy it. Probably. Right?
Yeah.
Probably the right call. And Sabine's like, well, I don't know about that. Which is, you know, predictable. But it's at least more interesting than just nothing.
Yeah.
Just no underlying tension or conflict whatsoever.
Yeah.
I thought the dialogue, there were some nice lines in here. I thought they were more well delivered and well edited in. Like Lord Balin.
Yeah,
He's got some good lines.
He had more screen time in this one, which I thought was very welcome.
His delivery is he's got a nice presence.
Yeah, I think in one previous episode I mentioned how I'm annoyed that everyone is like just very stoic all the time, but I think it like works for him. I think it's like interesting with him because he is like, he's a Jedi, but like he's not a Sith, but he's kind of working for the Sith. He has a lot of Jedi principles still, but clearly
he's not entirely evil. He's not a cartoon character.
It's just very interesting in how he presents himself and you know what and everything. So I like him a lot.
He's like by far the most interesting character in this show right now.
Yeah,
I feel like Ahsoka can be that, but she just hasn't been yet. But it's like, you know, this guy, he doesn't, you know, he like even when he fights Ahsoka, he's like, oh, this is too bad. I kind of was hoping I wouldn't have to like kill you.
Yeah,
You know, like kind of in a Thanos almost way. But it's, you know, he just seems like he has his mission. He wants to get there, but he's not like, ooh, I'm so evil. I'm going to just murder all these orphans, you know, or like burn down this thing or destroy the planet, or at least not yet anyway. That could eventually happen.
and it's like a pretty basic thing, but I think it's kind of annoying sometimes when you're at this halfway point. You have like a big, you know, second act battle or whatever, and like the hero beats the bad guy, and it's like, well, like then there's no threat because you know the hero can do it. But here, like you have the villain win, like it's like, so we know that he is like a threat and he can beat Ahsoka. So yeah, he's very threatening.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to Ahsoka later on, but like, I don't know. We'll talk about that. I don't want to jump into that discussion yet. But back towards the beginning, there are some other nice lines. I was watching this on the elliptical, so I wasn't able to write them down. But I just wanted to shout out that I liked the delivery, and I felt like whereas last episode the writing bones were there and it was not translated to the screen, I thought like this episode the bones were a little better even with the writing, and it was more well translated. So I'm not sure. I didn't look if it was a different director or not.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But I maybe pull that up now.
the
But
director was.
it very much comes off that way to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna pull up Ahsoka mini series and find that out.
The director.
But what else should we talk? This
Peter
one
Ramsey.
was
Oh wait, why do I know that name?
Peter
Click on
Ramsey.
Peter Ramsey.
He,
He's one of the Spider-Verse guys.
there you go.
That's right. Okay, that's where I know. Interesting. So he's mostly a history and animation. Cool, though.
And this is the only episode directed by him.
Okay.
So, and episodes 2 and 3 were both directed by Steph Green, who is not directing any more episodes either.
Okay.
So the rest will be directed by Dave Filoni or people who have not directed anything in this yet.
Interesting.
The last one's Rick Famuyiwa. I can't remember how to say his name, but he did some Mandalorian episodes.
Okay.
Yeah. So interesting. So Steph Green, I did not like your direction in episodes 2 and 3. But I thought Peter Ramsey, you did a very nice job with this one. translating the writing to the screen in the way I thought it was best done in all of them.
Yeah.
Was it still a little like slow for me? I think so, but that was just a couple times where I'm like, okay, you didn't really need this establishing shot of this thing. You didn't really need this, but did it completely take me out of it or get me bored? No, not like in the second and third episodes.
It was another shorter episode, so I'm considering it was a bit more faster paced overall. It didn't really drag for me at really any points, I don't think, which is an improvement from the previous 3 episodes. In general, the fights though, I think they were choreographed pretty well.
They're all right. Here's my thing with Star Wars fights. I think there's only so much you can do choreography wise. I think Star Wars fights are inherently about the environment in which they are in.
Yeah.
And I think the problem with the first half of this fight is that it's just in a forest, which we already saw with The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
So I think that part is a little bit like, I don't know. It wasn't super exciting because there wasn't a lot. I mean, oh, you swung and missed and you cut down a tree. It's like, okay, we've seen that before. Would like to see it something a little bit different. But I thought like from an aesthetic standpoint, the kind of the Stonehenge-esque place, if you will, was a little bit more visually interesting at the very least. Although I thought the choreography of that fight wasn't all that
It wasn't
spectacular.
that one was probably the lesser of the two in terms of choreography.
It was a cool little samurai moment when Ahsoka just gutted that guy. That was
That
like
was really
straight
cool,
Ghost
yeah.
of Tsushima.
That was cool.
Also thought that guy was going to be more important, and then he like evaporated. So that's probably a thing.
I'm guessing that's like Night Sister magic.
Okay, maybe.
I don't know. One of my problems with, I guess, with the forest fight is I feel like I don't buy that Sabine can hold herself against that I can't remember that character's name.
Yeah, I don't remember
the one who's clearly just like better
Shin.
at force and like lightsaber stuff. It just doesn't make sense to me, and it's not like Shin or whatever her name is holding back or anything.
Well, and also like my kind of plot hole gap filler for Star Wars is why like the Jedi don't just like go and just crush each other all the time. It's like you like balance the Force out a little bit, where if you try that, they're just going to be able to counteract it and sense it. Where Sabine can't do that.
Yeah.
So like, why didn't she just like and just like toss her around and like woo, just, like juggling her?
Yeah, we see her. I mean, we see the antagonist, force push a few people. I mean, she force chokes Sabine towards the end of the episode. Like, just do some of that. Like, I don't know.
Sabine with the little force like slap.
Yeah.
Like that was weak. Just like a whoosh.
I mean, I did like that she was, making use of her like Mandalorian weapons. I thought that was nice, but it's still like, I don't know. When have blasters ever done well against lightsaber wielders?
You brought a gun to a lightsaber fight.
Yeah.
I did like the fact that like you're weak in the Force, and then she just shot her with the thing from her. That's
nice.
a good moment. That's nice. That's creative. I like that. It leans into her being Mandalorian and all that stuff. So I like that. Again, was it like I couldn't help myself watching this being like, dude, when lightsabers used to ignite, like your face melted. Like, I mean, not literally, but like you were just like, oh my gosh, Star Wars, this is epic. And that's like, you just like all that excitement, it flows through your blood.
Yeah.
And this, it's like, I don't know. Like, it's just like that magic is not there anymore with this, because it, like you need to have more than that. And I thought the sound design was actually very good. They really nailed the sound of the lightsabers in a way that just stood out to me, and added to the experience. But again, my thing is I feel like Shin should just be Lord Balin. Like, why do we have two? Like, why do we always have two people that, can we just have one focused evil presence that's just going to be him and then the Night Sister lady? Like, why do we have to have the apprentice who's eventually just going to either turn good or just be the foil of Sabine and show why she turned bad and Sabine's good? Like, that is what it seems to be building towards.
Yeah.
I was hoping so badly that Lord Balin was just going to like kill her when she was like trying to kill like Sabine, just like kill Sabine and like, oh, this guy means business. Like, and he has like this perverted system of honor, but like, oh, I said that I wasn't going to do this. And like, here's the consequence. And you cross the line and now you're gone. And just like, holy smokes. And, but I don't know. It's just like, I feel like everything is already like, you just see where it's going. And it's really, the journey there is not all that interesting. But this episode was better.
I like both of those characters, but yeah, they don't both need to be there, and Balin is the more interesting one of the two. So yeah, and I don't like Night Sister Lady. I don't really care about her.
I don't either. Like I just like. I don't.
She's just the bad.
Three of them.
Yeah.
Like, why are there three of them?
She's just the bad guy. She just wants to get Thrawn. That's her only motivation. That's her only character trait.
I don't know.
She doesn't.
I feel like she has another motivation.
Maybe, but she doesn't have much of a personality outside of that. Like, I don't know. I just don't care about her. Like, she hints at previous. She's the like one of the only surviving Night Sisters, and there's a history there, but that doesn't seem to drive her or anything. I don't know, just a boring character with like one obvious motivation, maybe something underneath. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's just like, why don't we develop one character really well instead of these three characters that are just either going to serve a very specific plot point or just be there to like set up another action sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, we need to have like, how does it make sense that like, oh, we have two good guys, so now we have to have two bad guys, so they can't just fight. They both can't fight the bad guy at the same time. It's just like, I don't know. Like, seriously, this is the most creative we could get. I don't know. I'm sorry. And again, open to reevaluation because we're only halfway through the series. Maybe at the end, I'm like, you know what? That character Shin completely ate my words. She was very interesting by the end of it. And she was not just there to serve us as a foil or to turn to the good side. But man, I feel like I wish I could see more Lord Balin stuff.
Yeah.
He seems to have a cool presence. And and I don't know. I feel like Ahsoka hasn't even done very much.
Yeah, I don't think that this show has justified calling itself Ahsoka really. Like it
should be called just Rebels again.
Yeah, Rebels 2.
Rebels again. More Rebels. Rebels Return of Thrawn.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I feel like I'm still at a very similar place I was before, which is just like, if you've seen Rebels, I'm sure you get a lot out of this, whatever. But I still just don't care too much about our main characters because so much of that development is set up in Rebels. Sabine deciding to, give the map to Balin. It's whatever in context of just the show. Maybe it makes more sense when you have the full context of their relationship after having watched Rebels. But
I mean, it's just clearly the wrong thing to do.
Yeah, it's clearly the wrong thing to do.
It's not like, oh man. I mean, you can tell why the character would do that, but it's not like you feel that with it. Like, oh no. At least having not watched Rebels.
Yeah.
But maybe if you watch Rebels and you're really attached to Ezra and you're like, we can't destroy our chances of finding Ezra.
Yeah, maybe Rebels fans are loving that decision. I don't know.
I guess I just disagree with their statement that, oh, you don't need to see Rebels to watch the show. I feel like
not.
I feel like that's just not true. I feel like this is just kind of boring.
Like technically you don't need to see Rebels to watch this, but you're just not going to get anything out of it.
Like it's just like it's not for me at this point.
No.
But I feel like I got to watch it because now it's going to tie into like The Mandalorian or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Look, this was the best episode. There was a lot of better things. I think it was well directed. I thought the performances were better. I thought the writing was better. It doesn't make up it doesn't make up for the first three. Like the show's got to be better for me to actually go out and recommend this.
This is where it gets. This is it's just growing. This is the best episode. It's going to get better from here, Jimmy.
If it does, then I want that to happen. I want that to happen. But
Hera's still there
with her son Jason.
Yeah, she's in the ships.
Why do you get to break orders? Well, when you're a general, you get to break orders.
Okay. And then the ending with Anakin.
Yeah. So is Ahsoka dead?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like she's just on this like little force bridge. Is it like the end of spoilers for Harry Potter 7?
Yeah, whatever.
So if you've not seen, read, understand the end of Harry Potter 7 and you care, don't listen to the next 1 minute of that I'm going to say. All right, starting now. So Harry Potter 7, Harry Potter is dead. And then he has that scene at the King's Crossing Railroad Station or whatever.
With Dumbledore.
And then Dumbledore's like, well, Harry, you can either go take the train that way and you're gonna be dead and all that. Or you can go back and live the rest of your life and save the world.
It's probably gonna be something like that.
He says something like, don't be sad for the dead, Harry. Be sad for the living. Oh, wise Dumbledore. I feel like this I was like, is this the exact same thing? I'm like, is it like Ahsoka? Hey, I'm Anakin. I'm a good guy again.
Yeah, hey, I had a redemption.
You know, all those,
might not know,
those millions of people I killed. Got the pardon for that. So you know what? You can walk this way with me and be dead. We can be dead buddies, huh? Snips. Or you could go that way and save the world, the galaxy.
I can't wait for the entire next episode to be Ahsoka talking to Uncanny Valley Hayden Christensen.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think that's what it's going to be, right?
Yeah, I think
like,
so.
And it's going to be like that decision at the end. And she's like, I can't die. I need to go back and save Sabine. And he's like,
are you sure, Snips?
He says, well, if you want to find her, you just got to go right here. And she's like, how'd you do that? He's like, with the Force. And then she'll like go back and it's all epic and she'll like walk into white and she'll wake up underwater or whatever. And then that's how it ends.
I like that.
Not dissimilar to how Extraction 2 begins. Waking up from the dead underwater.
Here.
Yeah.
I can see,
we got a Scales, Mermaids Are Real reference, an Extraction 2 reference so far in this episode. We're off to a great
Harry
start.
Potter.
Harry Potter 7.
Part 2.
But
yeah, I don't know. The Anakin in this, he looks like Clone Wars Anakin. That seems to be
looks
like
Revenge of the Sith Anakin.
Well, they're kind of the same, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, that was nice. It's fan servicey, but it's nice.
Yeah, we'll see how his CG face holds up in motion if it's a Luke. Yeah, if it's a Luke.
But I mean, it's not like super de-aged because I mean, like he did. I guess is she seeing him the last version of him that she saw was good? I guess, or is it just like, hey,
I assume
this
so.
is what I would look like if I just was a good guy the whole time, and now I'm like 60.
I mean, I think he looks pretty young. So.
No, he looks pretty young, but like, you know.
Yeah.
How old is Darth Vader supposed to be when he died?
Good question. I don't know. How old is he in Revenge of the Sith?
How old was Darth Vader when he died? It says, it said 46 on it. He was just 45.
45? What?
Dude.
Why are you looking?
Did not age well. Dude, why does your head look like a cracked egg when you're 45?
I mean, falling in lava probably does that too. I can't speak from experience, but
dude, Sith need to get a gold bond endorsement. That's all I gotta say. They need to hit it up with Shaquille O'Neal and get that going. But yeah, I mean that's at the end. That's where I think the next episode's going.
Yeah,
hopefully not. Hopefully it's something else, and that doesn't happen. But I can't wait for. I mean, we'll also probably see Thrawn finally, right?
Maybe. Or that'll be the final shot of this episode is Thrawn turning around.
Yeah.
To face our antagonists.
Thrawn. And it's one of the Scars guards?
Yeah.
No, it's one of the
Mickelson. Lars Mickelson.
Phil Mickelson, the golfer.
Jeff Mickelson.
Yeah. So that's where that's probably going. Look, it was better. If it's like this the rest of the time, then I guess it's all right.
Yeah.
But I guess this is about how we felt about Obi-Wan at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably.
It's like
I feel like
if it remains this quality for the rest of the show, I'm not going to ever rewatch this.
I feel like with Obi-Wan it was a bit different because like it didn't have the Rebels like thing attached to it, and also I had more hope even at this. Like I went into that, and that was before I was completely burned on Star Wars, and I was like, oh, I'm benefit of the doubt for a lot of this, and now I'm coming into Ahsoka. I'm kind of burned out on Star Wars, and I don't know. Yeah. That's me personally.
Well, if it's bad, if the whole show ends up being really bad, then we can say Dave Filoni, more like Dave Baloney.
Yeah, that'll be pretty funny. Mm-hmm. We'll save that one. Don't cut that out, Jimmy.
Yeah, I gotta write that down. Cut that out. That was good. All right. Well, then it's only if it's bad, though.
Yeah, of course.
Well, if it's good, then we'll just have to save that. And, you live to die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain, Dave Filoni.
Exactly.
You and your cowboy hat. Dave Filoni seems like a nice guy. All right, that's it for Ahsoka, right? You got anything else to say?
No.
Hopefully it's good for the next 4 episodes. Holy smokes, please be good. And Rick Famuyiwa, so however you say it, he's a good director. So that finale, cool. Hopefully it's good. Ends in October 3rd. So
nice. Coming
up. All right, that's it for Ahsoka. Now this next segment is Nun-ya Business. It's the Nun II spoiler-free discussion coming at you right after this.
The Nun II, Nun-ya Business.
Whoa, we're halfway there. Whoa, Nun II, we're living on a prayer, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Whoa, Bon Jovi.
Wow, that was really good.
This guy. This guy, I tell you.
Incredible.
All right. In 1956 France, a priest is violently murdered, and Sister Irene begins to investigate. She once again comes face to face with the powerful evil. It's the nun.
It's the nun. It's
Valak, or whatever the nun's name is, which they didn't say in this one. Well, I guess they didn't know it yet because they can't know it until The Conjuring 2. It's kind of a problem with these movies. It's like you can't really kill the nun because the nun's in Conjuring 2.
So this movie's directed by Michael Chaves, who previously directed...
Is it Michael Chaves or Chavez?
I'll just refer to him as Michael.
There you go.
One of them. Previously in the Conjuring universe directed The Curse of La Llorona, which is I have not seen, and The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. Did not direct the previous Nun movie. But The Nun, the first one, apparently is the highest grossing Conjuring movie, which I told you that before we went into this one. When I was like looking up stuff about that first movie, I read this plot synopsis. I saw that. I was like, I cannot believe that. Why? That's insane to me. Like, I don't think it's like by a significant margin. Like, I feel like maybe Conjuring 2 is kind of close to where it was at, but it's still like, God, Conjuring 2 is just way better than that first Nun movie.
I honestly don't. I don't remember that much about the first Nun movie, other than I didn't think it was very good.
Yeah.
But
I'm kind of in the same boat.
Unlike you, Holden, I thought this movie was okay. Surprisingly watchable and okay. Does it make any sense when you actually think about the writing? No, it doesn't. But the performances, decent. The direction, pretty good. The music, better than it should have been. Paced relatively well early on, a little bit too long for my taste. As we got to the end, I think there were some things that could have been just condensed into...
That's a long third act.
One character. The third act is way longer than it needed to be. But I thought there was enough fun and uniqueness and subversion of expectations in this Conjuring universe to have an entertaining time. If you enjoyed the other Conjuring... I think if you enjoyed Conjuring 1 and Conjuring 2... I think there's enough enjoyment in this one to watch this without needing to even have seen the first Nun.
It's what I'll say is it's probably better than the first. I'm with you. I haven't seen it since that first came out in 2018. But there's at least probably moments in this I'll remember, unlike that first movie where I just absolutely do not remember a single thing from it. So that's got that going for it. I did not like this movie though, and unfortunately it's not like a really like I'm not like passionately hating it or anything. Like there's not like I'm not gonna have fun like making fun of it or anything. It's just I thought it was like really boring, and I thought most everything in it was mediocre to not very good. Aside from, I will say, performances overall pretty good, and the cinematography, I thought the movie was shot pretty well. But that's, as far as positives, that's probably the extent of what I have, honestly, because I think the rest of it was just either unnotable or not very good, personally.
There are like some interesting actors and actresses who are in this movie that I did not know. First off, Storm Reed is in this movie. I did not realize that.
Yeah, we might, honestly, I feel like I knew going in, or like, I feel like maybe she was in a trailer we talked about and we might have noticed it then, and then we just completely forgot about it. So I don't know. But yeah, it was a surprise for me too.
The other one I want to mention is Anna Popplewell, who you probably won't recognize the name, but if I tell you that she plays Susan in the Chronicles of Narnia movies, that might ring a bell. And literally, she has like not been in anything since those movies. So it's like so jarring. Like you're like, oh my gosh, that's Susan.
Yeah, I would like recognized her immediately. I turned to Jimmy and we like, both like recognized her at the same time.
Well, she is pretty like distinct.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was very interesting. I also think this movie is kind of hilarious because it takes place in France, but people are like English and Irish accents. Nobody says a lick of French in this whole movie.
No French
Not
at
even
all.
like the cold open, which I think is like hilarious. Like they're like, oh, it's France, like gotta establish it. And it's like this priest just talking in English. Like maybe like I'd understand like Latin or something because it's like, oh, you got to say the Bible verses in the specific language. It's like, no. Just speaking English.
I honestly kept forgetting where everything in this movie took place.
It was like like they would have a title card at the beginning, and then it would go somewhere else, but they like didn't have another one.
They didn't do a good job of like reminding you because I would say, as you said, the voices. There's no like accents. I'm pretty sure the main character starts out in Italy, and you couldn't tell. They just sound English, whatever. And like none of the architecture like even looks remote. Like you don't get any really landmarks. Nothing really looks, at least how I think of like French. I know it's like old or whatever, but nothing's very distinct. It's just vague Europe is what I think the whole time.
And vague old. It's supposed to be like in the 1950s, but other than like, the World War II references, like it seemed older than 1950s.
Yeah, I did. I thought that too.
Yeah, there are a lot of weird things. The biggest like thing that doesn't make any sense about this movie is like the nun is like going after this MacGuffin, I guess. But like, why? Like, it's like, to get more powerful. But you watch the movie and like Valak is not holding back. Like she is just
until she is
mowing people down. And then she gets to like almost to her goal, and she's like, you know what? I'm not gonna kill anybody. I can just snap you in half and just raise you up and just turn you into just like fold you into a box and fit you in my carry-on when I go to the United States in the next movie. But like it's like she just decides to stop, I guess, for the convenience of the plot, which is weird.
That's like a criticism I think you can make for a lot of horror movies, but I think it's different in this one because Valak is like, I don't know if I want to say like more of a character, but like you see her, you kind of like understand like what she can do, especially since there was a previous movie and everything. There's not as much of an air of mystery around this nun demon or whatever. So like we know how powerful she is, so it doesn't make sense why.
They also very clearly establish it.
Yeah,
with a couple scenes towards the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, so yeah, I think for this movie especially, that just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's just like I'm gonna just mow through all these people, and now I'm just not. Just gonna, the biggest threat to me. No, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna let you hang around. You just snap her neck
some
and
necks,
it's just
set
done.
some people on fire. Like
I thought that the cold open was actually pretty fun. I liked it a lot. And like you knew where some things were going, and I was like kind of cracking jokes with Holden. But I honestly do think like there was enough subversion and tension and like fun with it, the campy fun, that I had a good time with a lot of the scary stuff. To me, it did seem like, okay, we need like 10 scary scenes or like 8 scary scenes or whatever the number was. And it's like they needed to meet that quota or something because it's like there's just scenes in this movie that don't need to happen and characters don't need to exist, except they do so they can like get
Have more
killed off
scares,
or have
yeah.
some scare thing in another scene. And it really doesn't change the story at all. It's completely unnecessary. It doesn't serve Valak's purpose at all to like take out some of these people.
Just kill people for no reason. Like, just make yourself look more suspicious.
But again, my big thing is like Valak is going after this thing to make her more powerful, but we don't have any like. There's no reason for us to see like. There's nothing that we see. Like Valak is not restrained by her power. It doesn't seem like it's like she seems to be pretty much being able to do whatever she wants. So
yeah, it's not like we see, Valak attempt to do something that it can't do or anything. We don't get any sense of any restraints placed on her because of, this like needing this MacGuffin or whatever. It's just, yeah, she can just do whatever.
Yeah, so it's like,
people.
okay, maybe if she wants to like, possess the Pope or something, like, I don't know. And then it's like, oh, he's too powerful because he's too close to God or something like that. Or he's got some MacGuffin of his own. So then the nun needs something to be even more powerful. It's just like, nope, it's just not there. So like the whole like purpose of the story doesn't really make sense.
No, it doesn't.
And there's a lot of plot conveniences. But with that said, I think this movie's a ton of fun. And I honestly, I thought the scares were pretty good. It's a movie that lets you know when the jump scares are coming. And I still jump. I don't know how you do it. Like, I know what's about to happen and I still jump. So
I don't know. I maybe I'm just like, I so used to it. I don't know. But yeah, jump scares, they do not faze me at all anymore. Yeah. Unless it's like really well done. Sometimes it will, But
I thought this was a fun, scary movie, and more fun than a lot of the scary movies in the one. I had more fun with this than Evil Dead Rise. Personally,
wow, that's bold.
I'm sorry, I think so. I thought the scares and stuff were more fun in this.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's gonna be an unpopular opinion.
Yeah, I didn't really care for really any of the scares personally in this. I thought they were all pretty generic. I don't know. Like I felt like they were kind of checking off the boxes in a lot of ways. Like you got the scares where it's someone chasing after what they think is their dead kid. Like, okay, we've seen that a billion times. You've got, so like at the beginning, the kid kicks a ball and it rolls back out of the shadows. We've seen that a billion times. There's the bit where, you looking at a shot, pans over, comes back, something's different. Like nothing in this really stood out as like that unique to me. And I didn't even really think it was like in a fun way personally. I don't know. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, what else do we want to say non-spoiler wise about this movie? I don't know. I feel like we kind of hit it. I honestly thought the performances were good. Again, I just thought this movie was too long, and I have suggestions that I would make specific ones in spoilers. So I'm not just saying that just to be like, oh, an hour and whatever, 50 minutes is too long.
Yeah.
No, I got like, no, you could very clearly condense this and cut this, and now it's an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's like there were I think for me it was like certain scenes went on too long, but as a whole I actually didn't think like it felt too long. Like it was more of just like in the moment in certain scenes I was like, you can cut this, like especially in the third act. But yeah, on the almost 2 hour runtime, it didn't really need to happen. But performances just highlight a couple things. What's the actress who plays the nun? She's great.
Her name is.
She's been Bonnie Aarons, looks like Demon Nun.
Demon Nun.
Second one over.
Second. There we go.
Bonnie Aarons. Yeah, she's great. I'm pretty sure she's done it in all these movies, and yeah, she's always been great as the Demon Nun. Very creepy looking. I I like that towards the end she gets a bit more of a personality. I do like that. She's on screen more in this movie, I think, than in the other two movies. At least from what I remember of like the first Nun movie. And then not Vera Farmiga, Taissa Farmiga, the younger sister of Vera Farmiga. She's good. The sister Irene coming back from the first movie. Yeah. Storm Reed's good, even though we can talk in spoilers. I don't think her character needed to be in the movie at all, but performance was still good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Everyone was solid.
All right, so Holden, what are you gonna rate this movie on your scale?
On my scale, 3.5. Which I'm saying that, and like I said before, this is not a passionate hatred or anything. It's more of just like, okay, it is what it is.
I think from a technical standpoint, though, this is a pretty solid movie. Like, if you just look at the performances, if you just look at the direction, if you look at the cinematography, if you look just at the score, I think those are all above average. The writing, yes, is not great, but I don't think it's awful. I just like, I guess if there's like one thing, like if there's one plot convenience in a movie and it's like, I cannot watch this, then you're not going to like this movie. But if you're like, I can get engrossed in a movie and can turn my brain off and then just enjoy a scary movie that's kind of like The Conjuring, somewhat close to that level in terms of at least those categories I mentioned outside the writing, then I think you're going to have enough fun with this. Like, if you like Conjuring 1 and 2, I think this is one of the spinoffs that's actually worth watching and not a complete and utter waste of time.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, you convinced me. I'll go up to a 4, Jimmy. All right.
Ah, yes. Well, here's $50.
Oh, okay, yeah. 5 out of 10. There you go. No,
4.
You
gotta get 6 out of 10. So it's
that's right.
fresh.
6 out of 10.
Yeah.
I just, for me, this movie's just kind of a dud. I mean, I remember really disliking the first movie. Like, I remember I'd probably have, if I rewatched that, I might have more of a passionate distaste for that movie. This one, yeah, check it out. If you like the other Conjuring movies, you might get something out of it. Obviously, Jimmy does. But, yeah, for me, didn't hit the mark.
All right, well, let's talk about the Nun II, Nun-ya business, more in spoilers.
All right, the Nun II, Nun-ya business spoilers.
Personally, my favorite part was when they actually did say that's none of your business in the
that
movie.
Was pretty funny.
Holden, they said none of your business.
I assume that was unintentional, but incredibly good.
Yes, awesome. You don't think Nun-ya business has taken off from this podcast?
No.
Shoot.
And if they had said it kind of like that, that would have been fun. But I'm pretty sure it was just like, that's none of your business.
Yeah, in her Irish accent, she's like, that's none of your business.
Yeah, so...
I will not tell you the location of me Lucky Charms. That's none of your business.
We can start with the first scene, which you said you liked.
Yeah, I mean, look, yes, the ball rolling back. I made the joke to Holden that I thought it would be hilarious if the ball just came back at like 200 miles per hour and just blew this kid's head up. I thought that would be pretty funny.
Even if that didn't happen, there were a couple of times later in the movie, I'm like, I would give this movie so much more credit if they just, a ball comes out of the shadows and hits someone like at this later point in the movie. Like
That's
Chekhov's
good.
ball. That would have been really funny.
But you know what I like about the Conjuring movies is that the demons just don't give a crap about everybody else and the public, and they're not trying to just have you be gaslit by society like a lot of other movies. It's like, no, I'm just gonna make myself apparent to everybody in the room, and this adult here, I'm just gonna break all his limbs and then light him on fire.
Yeah, which I mean makes sense given like the history of like the true story nature of like the Conjuring movies, where they are supposedly ghosts that these people did try to exorcise and investigate and stuff. So that makes sense. It does make it a bit more unique.
Yeah.
Universe.
So I thought that was fun. I thought the holy water like boiling and up, and then the steam, and then it's all the I thought it was fun enough. Mm-hmm. But I
liked the big jug of wine they had.
Yeah.
That was just like the biggest glass.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it was very dirty going down to this cobweb infested basement.
Yeah. Why don't
cellar.
you fetch the wine yourself? Oh, I don't. There's a creepy nun lady down there.
I don't want to go down there.
I'm not going down there. But yeah, again, where was this movie taking place? You could have no idea based on people's accents.
Vague France, I guess.
You had Frenchie. Frenchie's back.
The memorable character Frenchie.
Yes, the memorable character Frenchie.
If I had not read the plot synopsis, I wouldn't have known who he was of the first movie.
Well, isn't he like the guy in like a scene in the first Conjuring?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I was confused by that. So yeah, he like gets. So I think the Warrens like exorcise him, at some point. I don't know if that's in the first movie. I think they show it at the end of the first Nun movie.
Yeah.
But I like he at the end of this movie, the demon's out of him.
Yeah. So he's got to get it back.
I guess. Yeah. I don't understand the timeline of that.
Yeah, I don't either. That's why I was like, where's this going?
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I thought this movie was maybe heading for a timeline twist, where
Oh yeah, you mentioned this.
where like the nun characters are trying, the good nuns are trying to Taysa Farminga and Storm Reed, the good nuns, are coming to save the day. And I was hoping that there would be, and this is maybe just because we were watching Saw and Christopher Nolan movies lately, but I was hoping there was like a timeline twist where everything we had seen at the boarding school had actually taken place beforehand and it was already concluding. And this, because of the way it ties into Conjuring 1 or whatever, and I was hoping that Frenchie was actually going to like, that it was not going to be a happy ending for this thing. It was actually going to be a scary ending. And then they get there and it's too late and this has already happened. And they tried to save Frenchie, but I guess they are unable to. And that would have been very interesting. And then maybe, because they set up this very, very, very obvious arc for Storm Reed where it's like, oh, I'm skeptical. And now at the end, I believe.
Well, okay. So I mentioned this to you afterwards. My problem with her is like, I don't mind. I wish they went farther with her character being skeptical. I wish she seems her character, she seems to have been kind of forced into this, I don't know what you call the nun place that they're at. What
The
nunnery.
I don't know, monastery.
Yeah, whatever.
For monk, I don't know.
So she seems to be forced there to work, and kind of go to school there or whatever. But she doesn't really believe in miracles, and she maybe questions her faith, doesn't know what to believe.
Doesn't go to confession.
Yeah, doesn't go to confession.
She doesn't believe that in the Catholic belief system, the communion wine turns into Jesus' actual blood.
Yeah, and that seems to be like the main sticking point for her. But I kind of wish they went farther, where she was just kind of skeptic of everything, do like a Mulder and Scully thing almost, from X-Files or whatever. But yeah, it was just like, I mean, she had that one scene where she said she wasn't sure if she believes in miracles, and then she's just on board with everything that's happening.
I believe in miracles.
Yeah, she's just on board with all this demon stuff happening, and then at the end, the wine happens, and I don't know. I just felt like they could have set it up to be a more interesting dynamic and justify her being in the movie, but she's just kind of there as a second pair of hands.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But I was saying, like, maybe if they do lose and it doesn't turn out well, maybe then you have the subversion of that character arc where it's actually, what's her name? The sister Irene actually becomes a skeptic.
Oh yeah,
like not that she doesn't believe, but she doesn't believe in maybe the positive nature of God. Like, how can this demon exist and where is God at all this? And now my friend Frenchie is possessed and going, and why is God letting this happen, sort of thing.
You're coming up with a more interesting movie in 5 seconds than this movie was for 2 hours.
Yeah. But I don't know if they would do that out of respect for the personal beliefs of Ed and Lorraine Warren, the real ones.
That's fair.
So I again, maybe, and then you have an arc set up for a third movie. But again, it's hard to do. Like, how can you do really anything that interesting in this movie that's okay, Valak can't die. Frenchie can't die because he's in the other one.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's interesting if Frenchie could die because there is kind of like a moment where like, okay, maybe in order to get rid of Valak, we have to, like, Frenchie has to die. And that's interesting. But
I honestly thought they were going to
happen.
do that, even though it couldn't happen. And that would have been interesting, at least. Like, weird timeline split. I don't know. Just go off in its own little...
the Nun multiverse.
The Nun multiverse. I don't know. But, yeah, it is hard to get super invested in this when we know certain characters can't die. And that's the nature of prequels in a lot of ways. But I feel like some just do it better than others. And this one didn't.
Well, that's why it's like Better Call Saul. You have Kim Wexler.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, what happens to Kim Wexler? Where is she in Breaking Bad? And, you know, your mind wanders, and that adds a lot of tension for a prequel. Like Lalo Salamanca and all that. So check out Better Call Saul.
Yeah, check out Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
That's our
Very
that
good
should be
prequel.
the takeaway from this.
The gold standard for prequels, I would say. So there you go. I liked this movie, Holden. I liked it enough. Again, I was amazed by how not terrible it was. Like, it wasn't great, but it was not terrible. I think it's definitively not terrible.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. It's just
okay, not convincing you.
not
Gonna
convinced.
need more money.
Trying to think what else with this movie. The third act, I was like, why are we following around this group of kids and the school teacher?
Why are we following around the group of kids?
Yeah, it's unnecessary. You got the Goat Man. Goat Man didn't really need to be in there.
Goat Man didn't need to be in there. The headmaster did not need to be a character. The headmaster should have just been combined with Susan from the Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah, and then she was what I was talking about with like, she sees her dead kid, follows her.
That was the worst scene.
Yeah,
I think that was
pretty
it. Was
bad.
like, this doesn't need to happen. There's no purpose to Valak's plot to do this.
No. Yeah, I don't like. Why are you killing off people to just like? It makes it more suspicious. People are gonna follow this trail of bodies. I don't know. I thought it was really funny. We're kind of just jumping all over the place here. I thought it was really funny when Sister Irene and Storm Reed's character, they go to that like library or whatever and talk to that one guy, and then the guy's like, "Oh yeah, the place you need to go to is 10 miles from here."
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's
A
convenient.
boarding school. Gotta love that Raiders of the Lost Ark moment, the Well of Souls, where the light just points down to where it's buried.
I mean, honestly, I did not the eye being set up at the beginning, didn't see that coming into play later. I don't know why I didn't. That should have been obvious, but
For a movie that has Susan in it, there was a lot about St. Lucy.
yeah.
There you go.
I actually thought something similar.
Chronicles of Narnia humor.
It was unclear like what the point, like the relic did.
That's my whole thing in non-spoilers. I'm like, the eye makes Valak more powerful. How so? Why? She already has glowing eyes. Like, you already, like, she's already got like glowing eyes, and then she gets them, and then her eyes glow again. I'm like,
Yeah, it's
so they do what they did before, and now she's more powerful. Except, Sister Irene's actually the great descendant of Saint Lucy, so she can't be lit on fire. I guess so. She's a Targaryen, or I guess, and then and then also, why don't? Okay, she can't be lit on fire. Why don't you just snap her neck?
yeah, there's like other ways to kill her. I didn't get the sense that when Valak comes in possession of the eyes that she got any more powerful. She just like did the same stuff. She got like a glowing halo around her. Okay, cool. She started floating a little bit.
She got taller.
Yeah, a little taller. But like
Maybe she just wants to be in the NBA.
maybe,
She just
benefit of the doubt.
She just leaves. They're like, oh my gosh, Valak! They get their like crucifixes out, and then she just leaves. She's just like, I'm gonna go play in the National Basketball League, National Basketball Association,
But she
or the Denver Nuggets.
she
They
literally
don't exist yet. They're an expansion team. That breaks the timeline.
little humor that I do not get.
All the crosses turn upside down.
I didn't like, she doesn't like move from that one spot as soon as she gets the eyes. And then I felt like the solution.
Well, yeah, she didn't get the legs to St. Lucy Holden. Come on, man.
That's true. Fair enough. But I felt like the solution to killing her was just like so easy. Like it was just like, okay, you just bless the wine. Okay,
I thought that worked.
It was set up at the beginning, but I don't know. They're in a wine cellar. I don't know.
No, we were wrong. The Protestants were right. This doesn't actually turn into Jesus' blood. Oh no, we're screwed. Now we're drowning in alcohol.
I just wish there's like, I felt like the solution was so simple, and like with how powerful Valak was supposedly, like I was like, why did this like simple thing seem to kill her? I don't know.
But it doesn't.
But it doesn't kill her. Yeah.
Because she's got another Horcrux.
Yeah. She's got a couple more. She's like Vin Diesel, one last ride.
Oh, man. Yeah. What do you think Valak's Horcrux would be? Just like, something in like the thing, like it was like a
rosary.
The thorn, what is it? The crown of thorns or whatever that Jesus apparently wore on the cross that was in Notre Dame or something.
The crown of that'd be a good Horcrux.
Good Horcrux.
Yeah, just a bunch of holy
objects.
Objects.
Voldemort missing out, not being a Christian. Not gonna lie, a lot of good Horcruxes he could have dove into.
I don't know. This is once again jumping around. I wasn't sure, like the eyes of Lucy being like this MacGuffin for the movie. That just felt like out of place to me.
It was like like the whole thing was. Again, this is the worst part of the movie. Mm-hmm. Why?
Yeah.
What did they do? They literally just say they give you power. Power. Oh my gosh, so much power.
And then like the little girl at the end of the movie when Frenchie is chasing her, just like holds it up and there's a flash and Frenchie's like, "Oh, my eyes.
Oh, it's so bright."
Yeah, it's so bright. It was very unclear what she did.
You know what would have been just metal. If Sister Irene has to like gouge your eyes out and put in the eyes of St. Lucy to defeat Valak, that would have been sick.
That would have been so good.
Just like Homelander, just laser vision.
The movie would have gotten 5 stars.
Yes.
10 out of 10 if something like that happened.
Warner Brothers, hit us up.
Hit us up. We'll make the Conjuring movies
either of the Warner Brothers. Hit us up.
Yeah. I don't know. What else is there to say about this movie?
Apparently way more than I thought there would be. That's for sure.
There's the magazine scare.
Yeah, that's always a fun one.
Yeah, I thought that was
it's like, dude, go away. Walk away.
Like, this is clearly not natural.
Those things that look like the nun that I'm trying to get away from. There's 3 streets. It was alleyways that I could go down right now. But instead, I'm going to walk a little bit closer to the magazine stand as the light's flickering on and off.
It was more creative. It was probably one of the more creative scares, but that was like the one scare where I was like, this is going on too long. Like, it was like, clearly this is going to turn into Valak, like, and whatever. And then we get the Valak on the magazines, and then it's like another 30 to 45 seconds before the jump scare happens. It's just, I felt like it went on way too long. I was like, okay, I get it.
It did the thing where they like look off to the side.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Which I like that normally, especially when they subvert that.
Yeah,
because I think maybe that one works because she looks back and it doesn't change.
That's true. That one might not change initially.
Which, okay, maybe if that is the case, I do kind of like that. Mm-hmm. But what was I? Oh, just technically. I mean, the whole thing it has to be CG.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be CG. It looks very good. Mm-hmm. And just like think about all the work that would have had to have gone into making that effect.
Yeah.
I think it looks very good.
It's a very good looking effect. Like, it's
a lot of the stuff is. And like the Valak thing in the wall, like I just think like the effects, it's silly. Yes, it's silly. You like chuckled when it was a Valak looking
the Valak like
wall.
a mold spot or whatever.
But like it's a very solid CG effect.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I think visually with effects and cinematography in general, this movie looks good. Yeah, I don't really have any complaints.
I'm saying, like, on a technical level, a lot of this movie is way better than I thought it would be. And just,
It is probably better than I thought it would be, but I still just don't like it.
I mean, that's fair, but like, I think you have to say like, okay, you have to look at a movie as separate elements. Like you can't just say, okay, here's the whole thing. Yeah. Overall picture, but then like breaking it down into the individual levels and what people have control of on set and in post-production and pre-production. Like a lot of people did a very good job on this movie.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
That's where the 3.5 comes from out of 0.
Four actually,
yeah, instead of the 0 out of 10 or 1. Is it a 1 to 10 or is it a 0 to 10 scale?
I'm not sure.
Or does a magician never reveals his
I do
secrets?
not know what the lowest thing I've given on this. It's probably like scales or cats or I don't know, like something I can't remember. I don't know. I feel like I've never gone lower than a 1, so I'll probably just say it's a 1 to 10.
There you go. All right. Anything else? We haven't talked about the little girl. She was fine.
She was fine.
It's a little bit more believable for me when children are stupid than when the adults are just really dumb.
Yeah.
Especially a lot of this was like peer pressure sort of stuff and that sort of thing. So
yeah, I guess one last thing for me to complain about this movie. The relationship between Frenchie and like the girl and Susan from Narnia, it was like it seemed like Susan just like had very little interest for a lot of the movie until just suddenly they were at dinner together
and dancing for a long time.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't really like.
It seemed like she was like, "You give me the creep, stay away from my kid" vibes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And then they're just suddenly, on a date or something with the kid there. And yeah, I mean, sure, he's being nice to the kid. That's fine, and I'm sure she sees that. But I don't know. That didn't feel super organic to me.
Yeah. All right, that's it then. The Nun II, Nun-ya business. Can't wait for the Nun III, bar none.
Oh, there we go. That's what we're committing to.
Oh yeah, you don't want to get that. That cocktail's not very good here. Because she's literally bar none.
She's a bar none. Yeah.
This is the best bar none.
Looks at the camera. I'm the nun.
I'm the nun.
I own this establishment.
Like my glowing eyes. Does she still have the eyes? Did she lose the eyes? What happened to the eyes?
I don't. She just
disintegrated, right?
She disintegrated. What
did they just like? Did they just land?
What did happen to the relic? I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't either.
I don't know. Something happened, I'm sure.
Yeah. Can't wait for her to just come back.
Yep.
Maybe she's on the back. Too. Maybe she's on the back of Professor Quirrell's head. Oh.
Another Harry Potter
reference. All right. That's it. All right. On to our last segment, Holden, which of course is What Are You Doing?
What are you doing? What are you doing? No, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, what are you doing? What are you doing?
All right. What are you doing this week? Jimmy,
what am I doing?
Well,
that's Nun-ya business, Holden.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll be in a few minutes.
I need to get my air horn app back. Oh, I have an air horn on here. Where's that at?
Put it in.
Wait, ask me what I'm doing again.
What are you doing, Jimmy?
Oh, that's Nun-ya business, Holden. I'm sure that was very satisfying. We could not hear it.
No, we can't hear it. That's put directly into the audio track, so we have no idea.
Removed.
No. Anyway, this week, Jimmy, I rewatched The Menu.
Oh, The Menu.
Yeah. My roommate's mom stayed at our place for a couple days, and they were watching it, and I happened to get there like at the start. I just sat down and watched it. It was honestly probably better the second time for me.
I could see that one growing on you.
Yeah, it grew on me. Like I remember, I think one of our biggest complaints was that it felt very predictable to a point, and I feel like, I mean, knowing that going in, you can just appreciate a lot of the other aspects more on the second time. But yeah, I think that's a movie full of just great performances. I think that's honestly one of the best parts of that movie. So yeah. I also watched Death on the Nile.
Wow.
I watched
in preparation for a haunting of Venice next week.
I wasn't sure if we were going to be doing that. I was like, you know what? I got a night, whatever. I'll watch it. Not as good as Murder on the Orient Express. I think the biggest problem with Death on the Nile is that it takes literally half of the movie to get to the death to happen. That movie is
There's on the cruise on the Nile.
yeah, it's like 2 hours long, and it takes an hour to actually get to the murder or whatever. And I was like, and I mean, obviously you got to set up all their big cast of characters and everything, but yeah, and I felt like the solution was remarkably obvious compared to the first movie, where I feel like Murder on the Orient Express is a very famous like ending. If you
Which
don't,
I don't know. What
if you don't know it, then
don't say it.
But yeah, Death on the Nile, and I'm sure that's how Agatha Christie like wrote it. Maybe it works better in book form when you're not able to actually see these characters act and like.
But I really gave it away when that guy was like, "Boy, I sure wish I didn't kill that guy earlier today."
But it has another very good cast of characters. I think pretty much everyone in it is good. I saw this tweet that honestly, it's making me kind of rethink. Someone said that Kenneth Branagh, like, they think that like the one for them, one for him, like kind of thing that directors do.
Yeah.
The one for him is the Murder on the Orient Express movies.
Oh, really?
And like Belfast is the one for them.
Well,
Which Belfast
really
is
Belfast though.
well, I Belfast, like I'm maybe if like maybe the studio wanted him to make like an Oscar movie. He did make it personal to him and whatever.
That doesn't seem like a good assessment though, because these movies would seemingly make way more money than a Belfast would.
Yeah, I don't know, but like, and maybe that thought doesn't have the most logic to it. But he clearly loves making these movies. Like he's so committed to that role, and like the direction is pretty good. Both movies I remember looking very nice. So, yeah, I don't know. And then Spider-Man, Miles Morales started playing that again. Good game.
Nice.
Yeah,
So, Death on the Nile, a lot of ancient Egypt stuff in there, or just no?
They go to like an ancient place. I don't know if it's a real place or not. I can't remember the name of it. I mean, it looked cool. Like the set design was nice. But not a ton of ancient Egypt stuff.
Did Gal Gadot be like, "Oh wow, look at all these hieroglyphics. I can read all these because I'm a historian."
No,
that's too bad.
no, she didn't.
I'm an archaeologist.
She's just rich in that movie. That's her main characteristic.
It's a good time to shout out your shirt here, Holden, for the
yeah.
the video watchers can see it. The audio listeners, I'm going to describe it to you. It says Explore Minnesota, which is, a nice shirt. But then it's a picture of a person riding a camel in front of the Great Pyramids.
Yeah, I got this at an art festival yesterday. I thought it was really funny.
You remember the name of the vendor?
Yeah, Tea Gravy.
Tea Gravy. Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, Tea Gravy. They do free shipping within the U.S. and all of their shirts are $20. They're very funny designs, very creative,
very soft.
Yeah, very nice soft material. We're not sponsored by them, but yeah, I would. But I plan on buying more from them because I quite like them. So if you like funny T-shirts, be sure to grab that.
There you go.
But yeah, Jimmy, what about you? What are you doing?
All right, Holden. I watched the movie. It's on Amazon Prime. It's
The
called,
movie.
The movie. The movie. It's called Red, White, and Royal Blue, which is based on
Heard about that.
the book that my wife Emily loves.
Oh.
So it was all right. It was a little long for my taste. I would say it's like an LGBTQ Hallmark-esque movie, but I would say it's a threshold above a Hallmark movie. Like it very much starts. It very much starts off like a Hallmark movie, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna work for me. But then it's like, oh no, there are more creative things that they're gonna do with this storyline and the way they edit it together. Because a lot of this relationship between these two, one's the son of the president of the United States, who's Uma Thurman, which is hilarious. Well, just the most random of roles for Uma Thurman. And then it's the spare heir or whatever in the UK to the king.
Okay.
So like the brother of the king, the brother of the king's son, or I don't know, king's second young. I don't know what. I don't know something about he's a
if
if
prince.
his brother dies, yeah, he's a prince, and if his brother dies, then he'll become the king.
Okay.
That's what it was. And they enemies to lovers story there.
Interesting.
But a lot of it's like, text message exchanges, social media, emails, that sort of thing. But the way they weave that into the story is very, very cool and well done. And very creative. I liked it. So if that sounds interesting to you, check it out. If it doesn't, it was probably not going to
win you over.
Probably not going to win you over if that doesn't sound like a good movie to you. Otherwise, Emily and I did start that one Korean show that I was talking about. It's called The Killing Vote. I think I said The Death Vote.
Okay.
The first episode was very interesting. We've only seen the first episode so far. Not like the best thing I've ever seen, but it's like, oh, this is an interesting like concept and plot. And it was like, I keep just like looking at IMDb, like the episode guide, and there had been like 4 episodes out, and like the 5th episode was like a 9.4. People had rated it, so I'm like, seemingly it only gets better. So I think we'll watch it. They like talk very fast in it though, like so it's like subtitles and it's like fast subtitles.
Oh, you got to be reading fast,
and it's like it throws a lot of information at you. So I'm like, if you're gonna watch, like sit down and be ready to watch it, because you're like, if you don't speak South Korean, you're gonna have to like. You have to going to be like very much engaged in what's going on to understand what's happening. But cool concept. I would like to keep watching, so we'll see how that goes. Otherwise, I played just a very little bit of Horizon Forbidden West, and I guess I'm just going to have to go into Spider-Man 2 blind, because I don't think I'm going to be able to replay them, or I might be able to replay just Miles Morales, because I don't remember that one as well.
Yeah, that's I've played through the original or the 2018 Spider-Man twice, so I was like, I'll just
it 3 times, but for whatever reason I do want to play it again.
Okay,
but I don't know. We'll see. That's where I'm at. So Holden, what's going on next week on the podcast?
Well, so it sounds like we'll probably do A Haunting in Venice. The murder.
There has been a haunting in Venice.
Yeah. I'm very curious. The marketing for that movie and like posters and everything make it look like a horror movie. I bet it's like just another mystery, maybe with like a horror, like little bit of supernatural leanings or something. Like maybe you think it's a ghost, but I'm gonna be interested to see if people hate the movie because they think it's a horror movie going in.
We'll see. Yeah, no, it definitely doesn't come off as like, oh, this is Agatha Christie.
Yeah, and it is based off of one of her books. Apparently, it's one of her lesser known works, and it is a Hercule Poirot book.
Hercule Poirot.
Yeah. But yeah, so we'll see. And then we'll also do Ahsoka episode 5 as well. But if you want to leave us a request, you can do so by leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes, or email us at tomppodcast@gmail.com, or donate to our Patreon. And I think that's it.
Sweet. If you want us to check out your comments and read them on the episode, type them up on the YouTube, and we're going to discuss them here. All right, whether it relates to a certain segment or just what are you doing?
Unless they're very rude.
Unless they're very rude to me. They can be rude to Holden.
Okay, yeah.
And they can be rude to us collectively. But not you. You cannot single me out.
You cannot be like Jimmy. Jimmy looks like he didn't shower today.
What? I did shower.
Well, maybe you don't look like it. Oh.
You don't get to comment that.
That's very mean.
There are rules.
Very rude.
Yeah, very rude. All right, that is it for this episode. Until next time, adios, pantalones.
Love you.